You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations.
Don't advertise. Go yourself.
When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
So, did everyone forget about PR? Like, is that a thing people even know about anymore? Do people even care about the things they're marketing now? Maybe it's just me, but I feel like companies used to take this thing very seriously. What you say matters because you're not just representing yourself, you're representing an entire brand, sometimes whole companies. My dad used to tell me, think before you act. And that stayed with me because I used to live in a world where people abided by that. But apparently that's out of the window with all the horrible takes celebrities and leaders say these days. Maybe I'm on some copium, or maybe Nelson Mandela is like screwing me over, but I really feel like people used to be more careful about what they said in public. Perhaps social media just enhances brain rot and makes people give the most insane takes. Now, obviously this goes beyond the Hollywood space, which I'll get into, near the end of the video. But today I'll be going over how many in Hollywood have kind of forgotten the lost art of public relations. And I can probably hear someone typing, well, all publicity is good publicity. I mean that people are still going to watch these products, right? Well, personally, I think this adage is a bit outdated because, as we'll see in some recent examples I'll go over, making some bad statements can completely derail entire projects. Sometimes they completely crash and burn in both a critical and financial way. At this point, a lot of these people either need better PR teams or just stop talking altogether. Let the art speak for itself. So I'm going to go over some recent statements that have been just really cringe or stupid. And I'm going to go from bad to worse. Bad meaning they probably meant one thing but said it in an absolutely terrible way. Worse meaning there's zero defense for it. I mean, literally zero defense. But before we dive in, let me know what was the worst take you've ever heard from an actor or a CEO or a big influential person. So let's begin with what made me make this video. Daredevil Born Again.
Oh no, that ain't right.
Okay, so the new showrunner for Born Again had this to say about Daredevil. There's more fun in the moments with these characters and a lot less navel-gazing than before. The earlier show, at its best, was fantastic. At its worst, it was two characters in a room talking about what a hero is. I felt that had been done. I'm not taking swipes. I just didn't want to hear characters grousing about their lot in life. I wanted to see them doing things. My guy, you know why people loved the Netflix show, right? Sure, the action was amazing, but the best scenes I and many other people remember about the show are literally when people are just talking to each other. Everything about the Punisher versus Daredevil was so awesome, and it's literally just two guys talking on a roof about philosophy. What about when Fisk is manipulating Bullseye? Most of those scenes are just two people talking, but the tension is built because you don't know what Bullseye is going to do. What about those deep conversations Matt has with Father Lansom? They offer some great religious commentary and are practically the entire basis of the show. I'm of course still excited for Born Again, but this comment makes me a bit worried that we're going to get more fight scenes just for the sake of eye candy instead of meaningfully built character moments. Daredevil's whole character is a philosophical study. He's not just some guy who does some cool fight moves. Now, it's possible what he meant to say was that the Netflix show had too many dialogue sequences that kind of just repeated themselves. And while I personally never had an issue with Daredevil's runtime, I can understand this criticism. However, the problem is the showrunner made his original statement extremely unclear, which has led to many being cautious going into the show. Again, I'm still excited for Born Again, but making an even small criticism of a nostalgic show is potentially halting some of the hype for Born Again. Stop trying to compare yourself with the original one. Let the show speak for itself. Now, I don't think this is going to hurt Daredevil's viewership much. Frankly, I don't necessarily care a ton, and I don't know how many other people are necessarily going to care about this either. But this next statement might affect the project it's associated with.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations.
You're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Don't you see what you were doing right then?
Yeah, so I think we can all tell why this is a pretty stupid take. Was this seriously something he had to say? Does he know how divided this country is right now? How the hell does Captain America not represent America? It's in the name. Now, Anthony Mackie did clarify his statement later, saying that Captain America has universal qualities everyone around the world can look up to. And yeah, I agree with that. It's like he says in after his statement.
It's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable.
Those are great values. But you really shouldn't have said that first part. Interest for this new Captain America is super low right now. Everyone was already shaky on it given all the reshoot situation and the current state of the MCU. But making this comment was the killing blow for a lot of people. Just looking through the comments, I can see people are gonna skip this movie just because of this line. Look, at this point, I've pretty much come to ignore everything actors say about their projects. I mean, I wasn't gonna see this movie anyways, but it's not like this comment is one of the reasons. There's been so many L comments over the years that aren't really indicative of a movie or show's quality, which we'll touch on in a second. But obviously, many Americans care very much about their country, and making this comment seems extremely antagonistic. And I doubt people are going to care or even notice his clarifying statement on Instagram. So while I don't think this is the worst comment he could have made, especially with his clarification, I feel like he really should have thought about what he said before actually saying that. So his statement will potentially stunt financial success for Captain America 4. But let's look at two projects where that actually happened.
I said white people crying, what's the goal?
Oh shit, here we go again.
I say empathy. Oh, that's why they mad at me.
For both the Flash movie and the Acolyte on Disney Plus, the marketing was a huge contributing factor to why these projects failed. I feel like the Flash one is pretty straightforward. I mean, what the hell was Ezra Miller on?
You even posted memes on your Instagram account, telling the authorities that you're in another universe, and that they'd never find you. That's low, even for me.
The executives tried saving the sinking ship, hyping up this movie so much, but everything they showed about it just seemed so bad. So all of the Ezra Miller shenanigans and the bad trailers, just all of that combined make this one of the biggest box office bombs for superhero movies. And of course, we can't forget what the director recently said. His quote-unquote reasoning for why the Flash movie failed was because people, specifically women, weren't interested in the character.
You stupid.
They're not.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.
You stupid.
Are you serious right now? We can't say the movie was bad, right? It's not, it didn't have bad CGI or dumb cameos or, let's be honest, mid acting at best. No, it's just because women didn't like the Flash. I mean, they've never been interested in that character, right? Why can't these directors ever admit their movies were just bad? And that's kind of worrying for James Gunn's universe because the director of the Flash movie is supposed to helm Batman the Brave and the Bold. Both his movie and his statements really don't give me confidence in this iteration of Batman. I mean, I guess Batman was one of the only pretty good parts of the Flash movie, but if you're going to be making these stupid statements, why would people go and watch your movie? And people already got upset with James Gunn's comments about not caring about the canon. So not only is all of this, not only did it all completely derail the Flash movie, but it's potentially hurting the success of future projects. Now, I won't go too much into the Acolyte because I dove into this in a previous video, but I'll give some of the spark notes here. The Acolyte had a horrible marketing campaign. Most notably, Leslie Headland talked about portraying the Jedi in a more negative way. Now, personally, I can understand why she came to the conclusion that the Jedi are morally flawed. I mean, they've been heavily disrespected since the prequels. However, when you're upfront about why you don't like them, especially in an already dying franchise with a volatile fan base, yeah, people are gonna be pretty upset. Future seasons were immediately cancelled after the show's release because no one watched the show. And above all else, the comments from Leslie Headland and actress Amanda Stenberg were a big reason for this. I'm not necessarily going to deny that there were some sexist and racist comments directed at these people. But I mean, come on. Like, if you're going to point that as the reason why people didn't like The Acolyte, then you're not being realistic. I mean, come on now. Now, obviously actors and directors making cringe comments don't always make or break a film's success. Wicked's marketing campaign had a couple of smears that almost ruined the movie's performance. Most notably, Cynthia Erivo, the actress who plays the Wicked Witch, got pissed on Twitter over a fan poster of the movie. A fan made this edit because they believed it better represented the themes of the story, hearkening it back to the original poster from the Broadway musical. But for some reason, Cynthia got triggered because this was degrading her. I guess she was mad because hiding her eyes was erasing her as a person. I don't know. It's pretty stupid if you ask me. Yeah, and then another dumb incident was when the box for the Wicked dolls had a link to an adult website.
Bad rain, horrible rain, terrible rain.
Okay, now obviously none of this is indicative of the actual movie's quality. Now I haven't seen it because I'm just not into musicals, but people seem to really like it given the ratings and box office success. But I can't help but feel the movie was successful despite the marketing. Like, the people who were set on seeing this already made up their mind. I mean, it's not like the actual story was changed all too much. I think projects like The Acolyte and Captain America 4 have faced more criticism because they were already on shaky ground in terms of quality and people's excitement for those franchises. So when those statements came out, people immediately decided not to watch those projects. If Wicked had one or two more major controversies, I think it's possible the movie could have turned off a lot of people from seeing it. Which 100% applies to this next movie.
You think this is funny? In a cosmic sort of way, yes. Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks? What? It's just an ordinary crabby... Oh my goodness!
Emilia Perez is the worst movie I've ever seen 5 minutes of. I saw exactly 2 scenes and I immediately turned off this garbage. Now, as all of you have probably heard by now, this movie is getting absolutely roasted and toasted by everyone. The trans community hates it because it does a horrible job at representing their experience. Mexicans hate it because it's a terrible display of their culture. Yeah, as a Mexican American myself, this was pretty horrible. I'm not the most fluent in Spanish, but even I know the Spanish spoken in this movie was trash. And why was there a statue of Emilia Perez with a striking similarity to Mary? This movie is just disrespectful to every group imaginable. Wait. Sorry. No, it's not disrespectful to, the out-of-touch Hollywood elites who, they think they're so down to earth. They think they're doing this great job of, spreading, whatever message they think they're spreading. Doing a real great job, guys. Yep, doing a great job there. So, the director of Emilia Perez made some of the dumbest comments I've ever heard. When asked how much research he did before making the movie, he says, and I quote, "I didn't study much. What I had to understand, I knew."
What a stupid fucking quote.
No wonder this movie was so trash. So here he's talking specifically about his research on Mexico, but clearly he applied that same logic for the trans experience too. How are you not going... Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't really care that he's a French director or whatever. I mean, whatever, okay? I don't care. But the fact that you're going to do absolutely zero research on these topics, it's stupid. I mean, clearly you failed on every end here. The casting director also made another L comment regarding the mostly non-Mexican cast, pretty much saying they couldn't find any Mexican actors suitable enough for the roles. We wanted to keep it really authentic. But at the end of the day, the best actors who embody those characters are the ones right here. So we had to figure out how to adjust authenticity with accents and them not necessarily being native Mexican. Oh, this is so bad. This is so bad. The deeper I go into this video and this movie in particular, the more brain rot I consume. I seriously cannot get a grasp for how out of touch these people are. It's actually insane. Out of all the actors you could have picked, you got Selena Gomez, You can't understand a single word she says in the movie. Again, I don't really care about the cast. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But all I ask is for you to try. Just please, just try. These were the best people you could have gotten. Bro, oh my gosh. They are doing such a horrible job in this movie. I mean, even the ones who can speak Spanish, they're not acting at all. And then you come out and say you couldn't find any good enough Mexican actors. Really? Really? That is the best you could come up with. Out of every single actor out there, there are tons of them. And you said, nope, couldn't do that, guys. We couldn't find a single one. Really? That is the best you could come up with. Whatever you guys do, if you're watching this video, please do not support this film. Even if you want to watch it to see how bad it is, just don't. Don't give them your time or money. It doesn't deserve it. I'm going to stop ranting about this movie because if I keep going, I'm probably going to turn into the Hulk and I won't be able to transform back. So let's get on with the conclusion. I know I've gone after specific examples in this video, but these are indicative of a wider problem, not just in Hollywood, but society as a whole. Elon Musk, for example, has said some really dumb things that make more and more people turn off from him. Like, he told advertisers to F off, right? Then, when they did, he and Twitter tried arguing this was a targeted attack against the platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being so dumb.
Then, when he was confronted about lying in video game leaderboards, he decided to get in a petty argument with Asmongold on Twitter. The thing is, I used to really like Elon Musk. Ironically, I thought he was pretty down to earth, and I still appreciate what he's done with Tesla and SpaceX. But the more he talks, the more annoyed I get with him. I mean, because he does this type of stuff that just makes him seem extremely childish. This isn't an end-all be-all for him. I mean, you know, I still feel like he can turn things around, but I mean, it's like, my guy, like, you gotta think about what you say, you know? I don't know if social media makes us more aware of these things or if, you know, social media just makes people want to say this kind of stuff. But both people and companies at large used to do a much better job with PR, in my opinion. Let your products speak for themselves. Wait until after it releases before you say stuff. That way, people will actually purchase your product with an open mind too. We've seen how saying stupid stuff tanks your critical and financial numbers. You know, it really sucks that some of these like great, you know, projects kind of get pushed to the side because of this. But honestly, I can't blame people for not supporting companies or people who kind of just try roasting them and not really taking accountability for their actions. How many more times does this need to happen before people learn? Hopefully this kind of nonsense will stop so we can focus on the actual products themselves. But it's hard to tell if this mentality will die anytime soon. But of course, let me know what your thoughts on all this are. And what are some other cringe takes actors or CEOs have made? Thanks for watching, and may the force be with you.